Good morning, fifth graders. Today is Monday, April 20th. Let's get straight to our lesson for today. I hope you had a great weekend and that you were staying busy. Make sure during this time, fifth graders, we're staying as busy as we can. I know that you're stuck at home, the majority of you, but try your best to stay busy and don't do too much video games. Do some reading during this time. Do some Bible reading, pray a little bit, pray for your family members. If any of you have a prayer request, please let me know, and that way I could pray for your family members. If you have anyone that you'd like us to pray for, go ahead and let me know. Alrighty, and send me a text message. You can email me, but I would be glad to help you pray for maybe a request that you have, even if it's an unspoken or something else. But let's look at lesson 93, fifth grade. This is Monday, and this is for math. Comparative graphs, alrighty? Comparative graphs can be used to display two or more sets of related data. So I have drawn on the board here, my lovely example here. It took a long time to finish here, as you all know my artistic abilities. Example 1, the average daily high temperature in January and July for 5 cities is displayed in the comparative vertical bar graph here on the board. Now notice here that this is what we're going to go over today. Basically is, first we have to look at the title. The title is the average daily high temperatures for these cities around the world. What I want you to look at, what we normally call the legend, is to look here. January has a color, it's not pink, it's more like red, and then July has the green color. So we're going to look here and we're going to answer the questions based on that. The temperature is this right here, the temperature in Fahrenheit. I'm going to put it on the side because I forgot to leave it out here, or to put it here. The temperature in Fahrenheit is on the side, and then here we have the cities and the towns. Alrighty, the towns and the countries. All right, so let's look here. Let's see if we can answer these questions here together with me for letter A. All right, by looking at the graph here, let's see what we can, the information and the data that's displayed on these graphs. Okay, in which city was the average July high temperature highest? So look at July then. All right, July is all that was in green here. All right, and which city was the highest average temperature in these places? So if you look closely here, you can tell that it's actually the highest temperature is for Rome, Italy. All righty, how could I see that? Well, number one, the darkest, I look at the green here, and this is the highest here, which we skip every other line here, would be 10, 20, 30, 40, it's counting by tens here, and it's the highest here. This is the highest, and of course Tokyo looks very similar to it, but the highest temperature for letter A would be Rome, Italy. Rome, Italy. Okay, the next question, in which city was the average January high temperature the lowest? So now we have to look at the lowest. So I look at what January is, and January is going to be the pink or the red, and we're going to look at the lowest that it was. So if looking at that graph, right away I see that Paris, France is the lowest temperature. And what do you think the lowest temperature would be? Okay, if you look there, it's going to be around 40, I'd say maybe a little less than 45. This is just an estimate. It's going to be about 42 already, and the yearbook says that there, but it's about 42. But the lowest temperature for January, the lowest average temperature was 42, and that was for Paris, France. Alrighty. Then let's see, letter C. Which city had the smallest range between these temperatures? Do you know why? Okay, we have gone over range. These last few weeks. What is range? What is range? That is the smallest difference in heights of the bars that occurs. And if we look here, the range for that would be, and the question is, what is the smallest range between these temperatures? Would be Caracas, okay? Caracas, Venezuela. It actually has a very low range. It didn't really change much back in January and July. Alrighty, it kind of stayed the same One was a little past 80 degrees and the other one was a little past 70 degrees, okay? All right, and then the last one there. For which city is the average January high temperature greater than the average July temperature? Do you know why? We look for the city that has a pink, the pink or red, as you like to call it, that is taller than its dark blue, the dark, well, not the dark, the green, okay? We find that Sydney, Australia, if you look there, Sydney, Australia, is warmer in January than in July because it is south of the equator. South of the equator means that January in the summer and July is the winter. So if you look at Sydney, Australia here, you can tell the opposite here. Why was it warmer in January? Now, if you, well, we all live here in the States, but if you look at most of January, anywhere, mostly anywhere, it's colder. But when you get south of the equator, like right now, our summer, which will come up here in a few weeks, is actually our summer is actually winter for some people, because some people are actually getting into winter. Like I think of Peru, when we're in summer, they're in winter because they're south of the equator. That's the dividing line in the earth, and anything that's south of that is actually warmer when it's colder here. So that's why January, if you look here, Sydney is a lot warmer in January than it is in July. In July, it starts getting cold. All right, so just use that as an example. Now we're gonna do example 2. We can use a double line graph to show how two or more things can change in relation to one another. For example, the double line graph below shows a change in population of the cities of Austin and Pittsburgh from 1950 to 2000. The legend to the right tells which line belongs to which city. So look at the legend there. Do you see the legend here? Let me just kind of focus more here. I don't know if I can zoom in. All right. The legend tells us that Austin is that of the red, and then the legend tells me here that Pittsburgh is anything blue. I know that you can't really see the blue here much, but try your best to kind of look in and try your best to look at that information there. All right, so let's look here. At approximately what was Austin's population in 1970? So the first thing I have to look here is look at the 1970, okay? And Austin would be the pink line. Okay, approximately what do you think that Austin would be? If you're looking here, Austin is the pink line here. What do you think? It's close to 300,000, sorry. So it's probably not right there, but I would say maybe at about, I think I messed up here for Austin. 1970. Okay. Give me a second as I fix my mistake. It would be right in the middle. Right there, alrighty? I would say it's about 250,000 would be the population at about 1970. Okay, let's look at the next question there, B. Approximately how much did Pittsburgh population decrease between 1950 to 2000? So let's look at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, if you look at from 1950 to 2000, you can kind of see that there's more of a decline. The city was at 700,000 back in the 1950s, but look at the graph going down here. It's at the 2000s. Now you see an incline versus a decrease, okay? It did not decrease, a decline versus an increase. So you can look at the population here and look at the difference here. If it was at 700,000, how much did it decrease, okay? This is right about 350. So take 700,000, subtract 350 from it. What would the answer be? Okay, 700,000 minus 350 would be 350,000, alrighty, or 350,000. So 700,000 minus 350,000 would be 350,000, alrighty, so that's half of that. So at approximately 350,000 was how much it decreased from the 1950s to the 2000s. All right, so what you have in your packets there would be lesson activity we're gonna use this to complete today's lessons. You're gonna have lesson activity 31, 32, and 33. What do you use that for? Well, for letter A, you're gonna use one of those. Chinara, Alice, Terrell, and Manuel each wrote 2 stories. The number of paragraphs per story is shown in the table below. Make a comparative horizontal bar graph to show the scores. There should be 2 bars for each student. You're gonna do much of what this is here. You're gonna do a bar graph like this one here, but yours is gonna be horizontal. What does horizontal mean? That's gonna go from left to right, this way. All right, so your bar graphs, these ones, should be going this way versus going up, all right? So you're gonna do a horizontal bar graph showing the information here from story 1 and 2. Again, it looks much like this one, alrighty, and it's in your book there as well. There should be 2 bars for each student, alrighty, you're gonna do that. Then for letter B, for a science project, Mia and Lonnie each planted a seed. A record of the height of each seed is shown below. Display the data in a double line graph. So you are also gonna do a double line graph. So we have 2 types of graphs here. We did the bar graph, you're gonna do a horizontal bar graph. And for the line, for the double line graph, it's gonna look much like this one. And you should have your lesson activity there for your for this double line bar graph. Alrighty, and it's gonna look much like this one. So what you have to do is you have to draw a graph with your centimeters either on the bottom on the side, and you have to have Mia's seedling located on that bar graph as well, okay, or on that line graph. All right, so you have two line graphs to do, and let's see, I think you also will have to do another bar graph in your written practice, which will be for homework or for work at home, since all of your work is homework right now, right, because you're at home. So you're gonna do that for today, for your lesson today. You're gonna do written practice as well. As soon as you're done with your with your graphs here, you're gonna do lesson written practice numbers 1 through 30 today as well. You should have that paper with you at home. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. I love you all. Have a great day. Bye-bye.